Hello everyone, Luke here. Welcome back to another MyTeam video. This time it is going to be the Spanish Grand Prix. Hoping to build on a good result last time out at the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort, where we had another very good finish in 8th position for myself. Again, Dorian was near the back of the field, so still 11th in the championship. The team's still 6th, but I am now tied on points with the McLaren of Lando Norris, and we have beat him the last couple of races, so hopefully we might be able to overtake him as the season goes on. Maybe, just maybe, finish best of the rest. Top of the midfield, we're currently 12 points off Esteban Ocon. We'll need to improve the car to do that, obviously. So I have gone for some aerodynamics team building, and we've got another upgrade to come before the Spanish Grand Prix. So we'll see if that is successful. Oh, and it's not. But we can get it restarted from the R&D hub. Anyway, so might as well get that upgrade restarted. Won't be ready, obviously, till this time. Always costs a bit less. It is guaranteed to pass, but will be passed before Monaco, so that's something, at least, I suppose. Costs us a few resource points, unfortunately, but let's get this Spanish Grand Prix out of the way and see how we can do this time around. So practice is over. Managed to get all the practice programs done, including the qualifying one this time, which should prove useful. Gives us plenty of R&D points. Unfortunately, there's only one we can afford, and that is this durability update for the MG UK. So let's get that done. Should be finished after Monaco. We have actually got quite a lot of R&D on the go. You can see at the moment we've got 4 different parts, so we need that development as well. We need it to slowly build our way up, because as you can see there from Carl's email, we are sort of staying pretty constant at the moment. Alpha Tauri and Haas have pulled away from us. Williams beginning to catch up, so we're going to need to step it up with the development side of things. But let's see how we can do in qualifying here at Spain. Can we get anywhere near the top 10 like we did in China? So let's have a go at qualifying for Spain. You can see it's a long run down to turn 1. If I have a bad start in the race, that will cost us. These long right-handers that you have here at turn 3 and the next corner, turn 4, that's going to cause a lot of problems with tyre wear as well on that front left tyre, similar to what we saw at Zandvoort. That's probably what will cause us a few problems in the race with how long we can go in the pits. Not got the confidence to go anywhere near flat out through that corner in this car. Just don't have the downforce to do that. There's another one of the right-handers that could cause some tyre wear issues in the race. Running wide on exit, that's not the best exit through that corner. It looks like we're only going to be good enough. 16th position there, not too bad. We did do a lot better in the final sectors than we did to start with, so can't complain too much with that. We'll see if we manage to beat Raikkonen, as he is our rival.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Hamilton, Bottas and Max Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
We're actually just behind Raikkonen, so maybe if I'd got a bit more careful at that final corner, could have finished ahead of him. 0.003 of a second ahead of Grosjean. But we always seem to do better in the races than we do in qualifying. I think we qualified 16th last time around and we managed to get into points. We'll see if we can do the same this time. It's definitely going to be tough, but going to try my best here at the Spanish Grand Prix.
The Spanish Grand Prix has been a permanent fixture on the Formula One calendar for over 30 years now, and for good reason. Do you remember Michael Schumacher's absolute dominance here in that rain-soaked Grand Prix in 1996? That day he took his first ever victory for Ferrari, and we've had many more iconic moments since. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Can we talk about Mercedes? What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, the atmosphere within that team seems very positive at the moment. Everyone seems like they're in great spirits and having a lot of fun doing what they do, and that's definitely contributed to the performances we've seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Leclerc, Alexander Albon and Ricciardo, Norris, Perez, Stroll and Lewis Hamilton, Ocon, Kvyat, Pierre Gasly and Raikkonen. The owner driver, Grosjean, Carlos Sainz. They've taken a grid penalty. And Antonio Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Russell, Boccolacci and Nicholas Latifi. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
So thanks to Sainz's penalty, we are actually starting 15th on the grid, so that's 1 place gained. Be nice if we can get some points. Obviously they'll need to finish in the top 12 just to meet the sponsor objectives. That is going to be the strategy we will go for. It's just 14 laps on the mediums, 19 on the hard tyres. The soft tyres really don't last long around here, so hopefully we can do what we've done at some of the other races, where just doing 1 pit stop less than a few of the other guys and we can hold them up. And it's not the easiest track to overtake on around this circuit. DRS will be very useful indeed down the long pitch straight. But let's get this underway and let's see what we can do. Well, let's get underway. Spanish Grand Prix, not the best start I've ever had. I'm going to stick to the inside because that's what I enjoy doing on these first corners, and then trying to see how many cars I can just send it round the outside of. That's worked for now. It's got us ahead of Raikkonen. 2 Alpha Tauris up ahead. Need to be careful because Sainz is going to be so much quicker than me in this part of the race, and it'd be good if I could keep him behind. Don't want to slow myself too much doing so.
Job.
Might as well get 2 of them in one go here. That worked out pretty well. The Alpha Tauri is too busy battling with each other and I just managed to sneak past a pair of them. So we've had a very good start to this race, up into 12th position already. Now we'll see how I can do once things start settling down. The pace of the cars around me, those in front definitely much faster than me. Throughout practice and qualifying I wasn't able to get near them. So we get a very nice view of the black Mercedes, which has just been added into the game. Hamilton with that grid penalty. Obviously we're not going to be able to keep up with him at all, so let's not even try. Yeah, not a bad first lap though, gained 4 places. So settle into the rhythm now and see what we can do for the rest of this race. The gap to Gasly is just hovering just over a second, and I need to keep it above that so he doesn't get DRS off me. The top 11 cars have just escaped. There's no way I'm able to keep up with them throughout this race, so strategy is the only way I'm going to beat some of the soft tyre runners maybe. I'd be happy with 12th place given that we'd get that money off the
The gap
sponsors.
to the car ahead is 2.3 seconds.
It'd be nice if we could get in the points, but I think we might need a retirement or 2. Or just use our different strategy to maybe get past a few cars in the pit stops. We are seeing a few drivers pit already. Verstappen, Leclerc, not sure if there was anyone else. That puts us up into the top 10. Obviously these guys are going to be so much quicker than me, but hopefully they might get stuck in a bit of traffic, so you never know whether that might help us go up a position or 2. We are now up into 9th place. Still pulling away from Gasly ever so slightly. Hamilton and Stroll, gap staying pretty constant to them. It's been a very solid first 6 laps. That's how much quicker the top teams are than us at the moment. Bottas has just pitted, comes out in 3rd place, still ahead of me, so nothing I can do about that. Not too worried, didn't expect to be racing him anyway. Currently in 4th place just because of the pit stops. Let's see if we...
The car ahead is coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead, now running medium tyres.
Swear Jeff always knows when I'm about to say something. Let's see where we are after we've done our pit stop. Hopefully we might have stayed ahead of a few of these guys who've already pitted. Into the pits we come then. I wasn't doing too bad. I don't think tyre-wise, that front left was starting to get a bit worn, and out of some of the slower corners, I could just feel the back end starting to go a bit. It seems like pretty much everyone who is doing the one-stop strategy is coming in this lap.
Go, go, go.
Decent pit stop for my guys.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Down to 14th place actually after that pit stop, so might be a few guys who've stayed out a lap or two longer than us. I'm hoping that's the case. Let's see what we can do. Can we beat any of those one-stopping, or the two-stopping guys, sorry, in a few laps when they pit? Gap to Gasly is now 5 seconds after the pit stop. I did notice I was pulling away from him just before that pit stop period. His teammate Kvyat, I believe, hasn't come into the pit, so that should be 1 place gained.
Let's use overtake and burn some of this energy.
And I think Magnussen has stayed out a lap longer as well, because Grosjean would have come into the pits that lap. So I think we've maintained position after the pit stops. Let's see if we can gain a few more. Probably not on track, maybe just when some of the other guys start coming in for their final stops. Now that we've made our first pit stop and only pit stop, everyone else has also been into the pits. We have gained a position. Just had a quick look at the race director. Lando Norris is way down the field, so not sure if he had a bad pit stop, he's made a mistake, or he's just got stuck in traffic. That's already gained us 1 place, and he will have to stop again. So 11th should be the worst we do now. Let's see if we can gain a few more places. Verstappen's just coming out of the pits. Are we going to get ahead of him? Yes, we are. So some of these guys are now making their final stops of the race. That's promoted us up into 8th. It's Verstappen, Leclerc, and someone else who I didn't quite catch, who've just pitted. I was catching Stroll and Ocon up as well. Jeff reminded me that I needed to get these tyres to last until the end of the race, and at the pace I was doing, it was going to be pretty marginal, if I'm being honest, so knocked it down just a tiny bit. Now I've got Verstappen all over the back of me, on the same tyres. His will be slightly fresher, and he's in by far the faster car, so I think when we get onto the pit straight, this should be a fairly straightforward overtake for the Red Bull. I'm not going to bother fighting it too hard, just going to cost myself some own time against some guys further down the order who I might be able to actually hold off in the final few laps. You can just see how racy he looks at the back of me. Dab of overtake just to speed up coming out the final corner, and I've got decent straight line speed here. We should soon just start catching. I don't think there'll be much I can do. I'll just lift off early. Wasn't aiming to bite him there, but I'm still sort of alongside him. That wasn't as easy for him as I expected it to be. I thought once I lifted off he'd just cruise past, but that wasn't the case. I lost myself a bit of time there, unfortunately. You can see I'm a second down in the first sector. Anyway, 9th position. Let's see if we can gain a few more places once some of the other front runners start to pit. We have had a few more pitters. That is Albon has pitted. Hamilton has come in again. Now he was a bit further down the order, so he might find it a bit harder than some of these other guys to catch me back up after his penalty. That now puts us into 6th position. I imagine that's most of the two-stopping guys who have been in now. Might just start to drop back for us, unfortunately. If I feel like we've got a chance for points, though, I'm definitely going to put up a fight for these guys. Albon's got a decent run there. He's going to try and go all the way around the outside of me. Just a bit later on the brakes. And that was my corner. I was entitled to that. I was still on the inside. That is holding him up. It's holding me up a bit as well. Hamilton's now catching these guys up, and I imagine won't be able to do a lot once he gets DRS on the next straight. In fact, Leclerc might even follow him through. It's not the best final chicane I've ever done in my life, and you can see right on the back of me.
We're leading our teammate by 44.0 seconds.
There we go, Albon just streaks past Leclerc. Not able to follow through. That's another position lost. We're now down to 7. We've got a Ferrari and a Mercedes all over the back of us as well.
Gap to car in front is 1.9 seconds.
This time we are a bit further ahead, so don't know whether Leclerc will be able to send one up the inside. No, he's gonna have to wait another lap to try that one. Just about had enough pace to hold him off without really compromising my own line there. That's what I want to defend from these guys. I don't want to slow myself up because that might allow Gasly. I think he's got a racing point and a Renault stuck behind him as well. All those guys will be able to catch up if I defend too hard. I'm slightly deep into that corner, but Charles not able to get a run back on me. 10 laps to go then. Still hanging around in 7th place for now. Expect me to start struggling though in a few laps, as these guys are on much fresher tyres than me.
Keep managing your tyres. Manage your tyres.
There you can see Leclerc's got a much better run this time around. Now is he going to be able to send one up the inside? I'm still there. Still holding him off for now. Can't see how much longer I'll be able to do it for, because as you can see my electrical energy is starting to look a bit empty. The battery's running low on juice. One of the racing points has got past Gasly as well. I believe that will be Perez. I expect him to start catching up shortly as well. Still holding on to this 7th position though. He's a lot closer to me this time around though.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
I don't think there'll be much I can do about it this time. He's going to be ahead long before we get to the corner. And Leclerc finally gets that position done. So I am down into 8th place. Hamilton right up behind me as well. Perez 4 seconds behind. He's on faster tyres. This is going to be a challenge to stay in the points, but it's going to come down to the final couple of laps. See, Hamilton's just got such extra grip from me. Just round the outside of that corner, nothing I can do about that. I think my front left is starting to wear a bit more than some of these other tyres. So he was just able to get a much better exit than me out of that corner. The long right-hander and then onto that second DRS straight. Thankfully for me though, just about been able to stay in DRS range of him, so that'll give me a bit of a boost down this straight. But on that one lap alone, Perez has caught up 2 seconds. This is going to be difficult.
Be aware,
laps
there's
to
an
go.
incident in the next part of the track. No overtaking through the yellow flags.
Thankfully there was a bit of a yellow flag zone there, which may have just put Perez off. I've gone deep into the corner though. Can hold off that position.
Green flag.
For now, so that probably saved us for another lap. 3 laps to go. Perez right behind us. Ricciardo only 2 seconds down the road from him. These tyres really
There's
starting to
3
wear
laps
now.
of fuel remaining.
See that front left by far the worst tyre. So having to be really careful through these long right-handers. Got held up ever so slightly in the dirty air, and it's not really a long enough run here to go down the inside. Is he going to try the cutback? No, he's not. So hanging on for now. But this defending is obviously allowing Ricciardo to catch up. It's going to be a very interesting final couple of laps for myself, I think. Get the electrical energy, get the ears going out of that corner, put the fuel up as well. go off the ERS slightly because I don't want to run out. And I am bothering to defend this time, Sergio. You're going to have to go the long way round if you're going to make this manoeuvre stick. Defended it into turn 1 pretty well. Don't want to run out of electrical energy down the straight because he'll just cruise past. And Ricciardo might do as well, but obviously this defensive driving is allowing the pair of them to catch up. Qualified in 16th, started 15th thanks to a penalty for Sainz. Got a good start again, allowed us to get up to 12th, gained a place on Norris after the first pit stop, got ahead of these guys and a few others in the second pit stops. Those faster guys have gone down the road, unsurprisingly, the Red Bulls, the Ferraris and the Mercedes.
The gap to the car ahead is 7.2 seconds.
I'm going to do everything I can. 1 and a bit laps to go to just keep Sergio and Daniel Ricciardo behind me. Got a fairly decent exit out of that corner this time. Probably still going to have to go defensive though on the run down to turn 1. See there, did just drop very low on electrical energy. 1 lap to go. Ricciardo nearly actually managed to get past Perez that time around. That left-hander is such a pain in this car all of a sudden.
There's only
Bottas
1 lap of fuel remaining.
Takes the victory. Try and keep this up. It's not close enough.
Moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
Got plenty of time left. Got less than half a lap to go, Jack. I've still got half a lap extra of fuel. As long as I keep it clean through these final couple of corners, should have done enough to secure a 9th position here. There we go, heading towards the finish line. 9th place. From 15th on the grid. Very, very happy with that result. Would have been harder for an extra lap or 2 to probably keep those behind. Esteban Ocon, his one-stop strategy earned him driver of the day.
A real team effort.
And I think that will have put us ahead of Lando Norris in the championship, so we should be top 10 in the Drivers' Championship all of a sudden, which is very good news for us. To say at the start, we came very close to actually losing a couple of places. Managed to go around the outside into turn 1. That was helpful.
Today.
And then got past the Alpha Tauris into turn 5, sorry. Into turn 5, and I think that was a crucial move because it allowed them to block some of the faster cars behind me later on in the race. Maybe if Perez and Ricciardo would be able to get past them a lap or 2 earlier, they would have finished ahead of me.
It's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Difficult call, but I'd like to say Esteban Ocon. He's just so gifted at getting the most out of his tyres, and he showed that today.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
You can see one-stop strategy worked from Ocon, 11th to 4th, Stroll, 9th to 6th, myself obviously as well, 15th to 9th position, 6 places gained. Was really helpful for us. McLaren having a bad race, way down the order, 16th and 17th. Kvyat dropped a long way back after his pit stop. Boccolacci, he got lapped again, but you can see pace-wise he was well faster than both of the Williams. So I don't suppose I can moan too much. I just want a bit more performance for him. I want him to finish ahead of someone who isn't in a Williams. Look at the driver's standings. We're actually up to 9th place. That's got us ahead of Ricciardo. So that's a really good performance from us. Closed into Sainz. Ocon having such a good result though to put him a long way up the order. And in the Constructors, Racing Point overtaken us. They have got a much better car, so we are down to 7th. And I think that's going to be the best we can probably hope for in the Constructors' Championship this season. As we'll see what Claire has to say to us about what was a pretty enjoyable race for myself.
Today. Let's have your thoughts. You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
It didn't look like anyone else had as much grip as we did. I mean, it looked as though a lot of drivers had grip.
All expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
With this team behind me, I don't think so. We haven't really... I don't want to...
How do you feel the competition is for you this season?
I'm not in the mood to badmouth other drivers.
Appreciate your time.
I did think that was going to be a harder race than it was, though. I thought we might struggle to beat the AlphaTauris and Raikkonen. I think just getting that good start helped. Managed to stretch more than a second ahead of them near the end. You can see there, rivalry stayed the same between me and Raikkonen, so I'm now just 9 points away with 3 races to go of getting that extra acclaim reward. I'm up to driver acclaim level 6. Dorian stays at 5, so we now get a bit more of an acclaim boost. That is always good. You can see a nice bit of money from both of our sponsors there. Extra bonus, always helpful. And that is pretty much it then for this episode. Another race in the points. That's 3 in a row now. 9th position, not expected at the start. Just keeping that one-stop strategy seems to work for us, especially when you start outside the top 10 and you can start on the harder tyres, probably start on fresh tyres and just make them last. So that is the end for us from this episode. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And then next time around, it's going to be probably the toughest circuit on the F1 calendar. It is the Monaco Grand Prix. How will we do around the streets of the Principality? You'll have to find out next time. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.